So in today's video, we are going to be going on the Mayflower. So exciting. It's going to be fun.
Let's go walk over to it.
We're getting everyone.
Come on.
Probably see if we can find a potty first. We parked right on the other side of this wall here. I loved the way the top was. It was like they put the cement on top and then they had the rocks sticking up. It was really kind of cool looking. So this gate was open to go down to the beach. So they went down to the beach and then I am going to follow after. Can you see if you can shove that through there? What'd you find? And I decided to go down there. I wasn't quite sure if they just wanted to go down and see or if they wanted to stay down there for a minute. And they did want to stay down for a minute, so I just went down there after them, looking out over the harbor, and they were showing me their shells that they found, which shells are always fun. Can you imagine coming all the years ago on that ship over there into right here to start a new life?
Mom, open it. Mom, look at this.
No, get rid of the glass. That's real glass, not sea glass.
It takes us a picture of it.
Right there. Cool.
I really like to keep these.
Yeah, you can. I don't see a sign that says no.
I like this one also because I found both of these baggies up into the van. This one has blue and orange.
Cool.
Did there used to be a pearl in here?
I don't
Here,
know.
Mom. This is for you, Mom.
That's a clam. It used to have a clam inside of it.
At least I can still hear the ocean.
You can still hear the ocean. Look how fancy it looks on there. In this part here, I kind of took it out because a man kind of came from behind us and he was jogging like through our family. So I said move over, and the guy like jogged through our family, but he kind of like pushed through our family as he was jogging. I had to cut that out because he was really not wearing the best of clothes and he just really kind of shoved through, so I clipped that part out. But my daughter's saying sorry, and I was like, it's okay, because I had said to her, move over, and she felt like she didn't like move over fast enough. But then we just talked about it later, like, thank you, you did what you were supposed to do. And she was like listening, but she thought that maybe she wasn't listening well. But it was like instantaneously that he like came through. I didn't realize that he was behind us until he was like kind of like shoving through our family. So that is why she apologizes. We talk about it later, but I just yeah, so that's what was clipped out.
Sorry, Mom.
It's okay. Yep. Pilgrim Memorial State Park. Pilgrim Memorial State Park is designed around Plymouth Rock, a large glacier boulder deposited in the harbor and smoothed by centuries of tidal wash. The rock is not only a landmark, but also a symbol of courage and faith of the men and women who founded the first New England colony. Tradition tells us that the Pilgrims first stepped here when they arrived December 1620 on a long land inhabited by Wampanoag Native Americans. Scam Massasoit befriended the Pilgrims. Without help from the Wampanoags, the Pilgrims likely would have starved soon after their arrival. Here the Pilgrims began their new lives in North America when the Mayflower anchored offshore. Today, the site of the world-famous Plymouth Rock is a picturesque landscape park that offers historical and recreational opportunities for nearly 1 million people every year. During your visit, you will find there's much to do within the park. Here you can visit Plymouth Rock, where you can learn interesting history of the rock and its famous Picado, climb the steps across the street and enjoy a panoramic view from Coles Hill, tour works of art, take a stroll on Fraser State Pier, enjoy picnic or cultural program on the grassy south end of the park. So once you get to the state park area, you can just park. There's, we went early in the morning, and I'm glad we went to the Mayflower first. I was thinking to myself, oh, it would be fun to like kind of pretend that we came over on the Mayflower, and then we would go like to the plantation later on in the afternoon. We actually visited the grist mill, but we visited that on the following day because it just, there's lots of hands-on things, guys. If you ever get the opportunity to visit Plymouth Plantation, the Mayflower or the grist mill, things are hands-on. Very hands-on, very kid-friendly. We'll talk about that at the other museums as well, but it's well worth the visit. So if you are at the state park, there's a bathroom kind of in that area, so you can park all along the ocean there. And then, or the harbor, whatever you want to call it. You can park all along there, and there's a walkway along. We did not have a problem finding parking, but on our way back, which was around lunchtime, it was very busy. Everything was filled up. So if you're going to go, I would go early in the morning. We were there by 9, and we're able to find parking just fine. With both my handicap plates and non-handicap plates. So there was plenty of parking at that time of day, but then when we came back, there was, yeah, it was just a little crazy. So once you walk down a little bit, it's probably only like quarter mile that we like parked, and then we walked down on the beach. We're able to like view the beach area down there, and then we walked over to the yes, I can talk. We walked over to the Mayflower, which is part of like the state park. So there's the state park, and there's bathrooms over there, and then in front of you is the Mayflower, and then to the right of you is going to be Plymouth Rock. It has like big columns along that, so that's all in the state park area over there. The beach area was kind of cool. I don't know what that like little cylinder thing is, and then on the way back there was like bloody shoes on the way up the steps and down the steps. I'm like, ooh, how'd those get there? So I actually bought two family passes so we could go in here and the grist mill and the other, so and the Plymouth Plantation. And this is before you even get on the boat. It gives the complete history of what was happening over in England before they came on the Mayflower, and the different types of people that came over on the Mayflower. Mary Chilton was with a 13-year-old girl with her parents. Child, Frances Billington. Remember, your parents are always in charge. They decide where your family will live, what you will learn, and how you'll spend time. As a 17th century child, they would teach you all the skills you need to be a successful adult. There's no video games, cell phones, or computers. You spend much of your time helping around the house, watching over smaller children, but you have time to play too. Your parents tell you that you're leaving home to move to a new country. How do you feel? Pure life in England to worship without fear of persecution. Urban life in Holland is difficult. As immigrants, you and your family find low-paying work in the cloth trades. Even your children are forced to work to help support the family. While you have the freedom to worship as you wish, your children's memories of England are fading. Your children's memories of, they become comfortable speaking Dutch. Some young men even express an interest in joining the Dutch army. Your congregation has begun to dwindle as some members return to England. It is time for a better way of life, one that will allow you to retain your English culture, prosper economically, and most importantly, openly worship God in the way that you believe is true. Large landowners are beginning to consolidate their estates, squeezing into many of the smaller farmers and their families. Country dwellers flock to urban areas like London, in ever-increasing numbers searching for new economic opportunities. You may not have significant concerns about religious practices of the Church of England, but a journey of North America could afford you a new economic opportunities. You hear a newly formed joint stock company, one which might allow you to own land after 7 years of working for the new colony. This might enable you to create prosperous foundation for your family. What about the sailors? Sailor, England is an economic depression. The demand of English wool is collapsing, leaving many merchant ships idle to English waters. If you are a sailor, finding work is difficult. Although a trip across the Atlantic could be more dangerous than a voyage to Europe, it is an opportunity to earn money. Are you willing to take a risk if you were a sailor? Man from England. You've heard stories from explorers about attempts to establish colonies in the Americas. You decide to join the stock company to finance your journey across the Atlantic. You will sail on a ship with some religious separatists, and the rumors about them are fierce. They have been practicing their religion outside of the Church of England and fled to Holland because they are wanting the English government. You may not have been as outspoken regarding your own beliefs, but you realize this venture will afford you economic opportunities. You cannot be sure that you will get along with everyone during the journey. On your behalf, the investors have provisioned 2 ships with things that are necessary to begin a new colony. What does your family need to survive? Woman from England, you have your own thoughts about joining this venture. You may have shared your feelings and opinions with your husband, but he has made the decision to go. You may draw strength from your faith and courage from your vision for the better economic future. Either way, you and your husband will need to make hard choices about what goes with you and the family, what you will bring to safeguard your family. What comforts and conveniences will you leave behind? You elect 2 leaders of your congregation to travel to London and negotiate with investors. They secure 2 ships to transport the group across the Atlantic. Speedwell is a fishing vessel owned by the passengers and will stay with you in North America. The other ship is the Mayflower, is hired merchant vessel. Neither ship was built to carry passengers, but you'll have to make do. The investors will provision these 2 ships with things necessary to begin a new colony: food, tools, clothing, shoes, seeds, goods, to trade with native communities. These provisions must last until other ships can come bring more supplies. As the provider of your family, what else would you bring? So the gentleman actually on the middle section of the Mayflower, which would be where all of the people would have slept and such, he was very knowledgeable. We engaged him in conversation. He answered a bunch of things. So one thing that was very interesting that we hadn't known before, we knew that there was 2 ships. We know there was the Speedwell and the Mayflower, but we didn't really know. We know the Speedwell had some issues, but we didn't really know how it really was. So he explained that the Speedwell was actually owned by the reformers. So the people who were wanting to leave the church and come and make their own church, the reformers, they actually had purchased the ship, the Speedwell. So it was their ship. And at the same time, there was another ship called the Mayflower, and that was a merchant ship that was just, but they didn't own it. It was coming to America to try to make money so that they could bring back goods to England in order to pay for passage, make money for everything. Yeah, all about money, right? So, basically what ended up happening was the Speedwell and the Mayflower left on the same day. I believe it was September. No, maybe it was August. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, guys. They left on the same day, and they had to turn around to come back because the Speedwell was having some issues. And then eventually the passengers from the Speedwell ended up going on the Mayflower. So even though both ships were supposed to hold like 60 people, the Mayflower ended up holding a heck of a lot more. If you wonder why you're rocking, little man's in there. Very interactive here, huh? Notes to the Atlantic world. Oh, you're strong.
Good job. You're supposed to fall.
Could you be a sailor?
Wow! It really pulled me there.
Do you notice this name right here? Samuel D. Champlain. St. Croix Island. Let's go. Wow. Oh, as a eye, you're missing out. Look at all the ropes. Can you imagine climbing up that like in a storm? Oh, I know. I hear you this morning, sir.
50 were men, 20 were adult women, 32 were children. Think about it being darkness down here all the time for their journey, except for candles. All the openings you see today would be closed and sealed to the weather. Yeah, quite a few of the Tillys are gone in the first one. Elizabeth married John Holland. John Holland was a servant to the Carter family. It's the biggest of the Pilgrim Society is John Holland Society, because when John Holland died, he had 88 grandchildren.
Wow. How many children did he have?
Tilly, so she would have been not part of that group.
She was part of the Tilly group, but when her family all dies, John Holland marries her when he's 28 and she's 13.
Here, look at those ropes.
Or maybe along the way. If there are more often in class.
Is your name Tilly? Very good. So all 102 people were down here. There were 50 men, 20 adult women, and 32 children. The big device in front of the stairway is the anchor windlass. Those bars to your right or left go into the square holes, and 8 men operate the anchor windlass.
Guys, we're going up.
That's what those bars on the wall are for. There may have been some fold-out bunks like these, but we're not sure of that. Once it closes up, it looks like the one across the lake, gives you a lot more room. Otherwise, your mattress and bedroll spread out all over the place. The deck below is where all of the supplies were kept. They carried all of their food, all of their beer, all of their tools to build a new colony. Whatever's life's belongings you could bring with you, like these chests and things, were actually all down below. No room up here for any chests. If you packed away your favorite winter coat in your chest, you're not gonna see it for months. The only thing brought up from down below when they're traveling is extra food. the tools to work on the ship. And the sailors do that. People aren't allowed down there, they all live on the decks together, which they did, but the speedboat leaked so badly, they have to bring her back to Dartmouth, England, work on her there and try to fix the leak, which they thought they did, and they left again from Dartmouth, England, and 300 miles out to sea. The decision was made to go back to England. They choose the port of Plymouth to leave the leaking ship behind and transfer people onto Mayflower along with their supplies. And finally, Mayflower leaves on the 6th or our 16th of September with 102 people aboard, instead of the 60 she was supposed to have. Hatchway, so it would be dark. The big boat outside beside us, which is 33 feet long and weighed 4 tons, was carried on board this deck level with the passengers. Most of us think 4 people. They wrote that the worst out. They put that together out of Cape Cod, and that's the size boat they came with.
So the gentleman was also saying that people, that was kind of like the middle of the boat, so that's where most of the people would stay. They packed their trunks and everything to go, but their trunks actually stayed underneath, so they didn't have their personal supplies right there with them. They had their trunks packed in the bottom part of the ships. The only thing that would come up would be food and the water and that type of stuff, or ale or whatever that they were drinking. Those types of things were the only things that would come up. They didn't have their personal supplies really throughout the whole trip. There was, I think, 34 children on the boat and 102 passengers. So it was cramped in there. It was it was not meant to be a passenger ship. It was like a merchant ship. So then I filled my whole photo storage. So we ended up, my daughter ended up taking these for me of the upper deck and sharing them with me. So you could just see a little bit more on the upper deck. There was like the captain's sleeping quarters were in the upper deck, as well as the Mayflower bow, which is kind of cool. The Mayflower was, this is not the original. Most likely the Mayflower went over back to England and was used probably just for scrap. But this is the second Mayflower the second, and it is like a reproduction of the original one.
One minute, sweetie. Gosh, they're making them look like they're kings. Historically accurate. Make me
It's true.
Would you want to sleep in one of these? It has the space underneath and will probably better than downstairs.
Not for enough money. Some ships captain says, yeah, that's more than we make in 5 months worth of hauling freight around the channel, so we'll take a shot at it. You've already been into different freight space, and the children have nothing to do. The men don't know anything about sailing, city people. The women don't have work. The ship's cook is likely feeding them from up above. It's too dark to sew. 32 children like you guys, and kids in those days, like children in any time period, play games with balls and sticks, board game, read if they know how. Of course, there's no room for any of that kind of running around stuff. There's no light for any reading or board games or playing. So for young guys like you, it would all just be sit down and be quiet. And we'll be there in a couple of months. And then when you get here, it's still anything you're curious about, just don't be shy.
So if you are in the Plymouth, Boston area and you would like to check out the Mayflower, it is really worth it. It's very hands-on. Everyone on the ship seemed to be very knowledgeable, and we appreciated going. Have a blessed day.